I'm solving problem number 7, where I have to solve the polynomial equation for n to the second minus 5n minus 3. So the first thing that I want to make sure is that the polynomial is already set equal to 0. And yes, I have my polynomial and it's set equal to 0. Next, what I want to do is try to factor. And if I can factor, then I use the quadratic formula, also known as quadratic equation. So in my hint, I can read that I cannot factor. Since I cannot factor, I must use the quadratic equation or formula. So since I cannot factor, I'm going to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is right here. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of that over 2a. So the first thing that I want to do is identify a, b, and c, then plug in those numbers, a, b, and c, into this equation to find my x solutions. Once I plug in a, b, and c into this formula, I simplify, and that's all I have to do. So let's start by listing a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of my variable squared. So I have n squared, or n to the second. My coefficient is 4, so that's my a. So a is 4 because that's the coefficient of n to the second. What is b? Well, b is the coefficient of n to the first, which in this case will be negative 5. Negative 5 is the coefficient of n to the first. Next, what is c? Well, c is the coefficient of the number by itself, which is just negative 3. I already listed my a, b, and c. Now I'm ready to just plug it into the formula. So I'm just going to rewrite it as x equals, and then I'm going to have negative b, or negative, what was b? B was negative 5, so I'm going to have negative 5. Then I have a plus or minus, and then I have b squared, right? What was b? B was negative 5, so I'm going to do negative 5 squared, or negative 5 to the second. And it's always useful to put parentheses around things so you simplify better. I'm going to have a minus, and then I'm going to put a parenthesis around the 4, around this 4, so I don't get confused. Then I have a times c. A was 4, so I'm going to write another 4 here. Sorry, and the square root kind of continues like this, right? And then what was my c? Well, c was negative 3, so I'm just going to write a negative 3. And, sorry, negative 3. And all of this was over 2a, right? So 2 times 4, because a is 4, so 2 times 4. Okay, so I successfully input the numbers a, b, and c, but now I just want to simplify. I'm going to simplify as much as I can, and those are my solutions. So I'm going to have negative 5, right? Or negative 5 is positive 5. I have a plus or minus, and then the square root. And negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5, that's 25. I'm going to get minus, right? Using order of operations, I know that I first need to multiply. And 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times negative 3, well, that's just negative 48. So negative 48. So again, I have a minus, right? I'm a negative sign, I'm subtracting, but I'm doing order of operations to do 4 times 4, 16 times negative 3, negative 48. Then over 2 times 4, which is just 8. So I'm going to have 5 plus or minus, I'm almost done, right? Plus or minus, and then 25 minus 48. What is minus a negative? That's plus. So I'm going to have 25 plus 48, and that's 73. So again, 25 minus negative 48, that's 25 plus 48, which gives me 73, and that's over 8. So since I have a plus or minus, that means I'm going to have two solutions. So the first one is going to be x equals 5, right, plus 73, square root of 73. So plus square root of 73 And then what else? Well, that's over 8, right? Over 8. So I'm going to have this over 8. So this is my first solution. X equals 5 plus the square root of 73 over 8. Can I simplify more? Maybe, but that's simple enough. I think this is understandable. And then my second solution, because I'm always going to have two solutions for a quadratic polynomial, is 5 minus, right? So 5 minus the square root of 73 over 8. So basically, to summarize what this problem was, I identified, since I cannot well, first, sorry, the polynomial is always already set equal to 0. I'm going to try to factor, but my hint tells me I cannot factor, so I'm going to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. I will provide you with a formula so you don't have to memorize it. Once I have the formula, I find A, B, and C, which are my coefficients, and I'm going to input A, B, and C into the quadratic formula or quadratic equation. And once I input or plug in all A, B, and C into the quadratic formula, I'm just going to try to simplify as much as I can and end up with two solutions. In this case, there were two solutions, which is x equals 5 plus the square root of 73 over 8. And the second solution was x equals 5. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mess there. X equals 5 minus the square root of 73 over 8. So the two solutions are x equals 5 plus the square root of 73 over 8 and x equals 5 minus the square root of 73 over 8.